Hey everybody, welcome to another tutorial. This time we're going to take you through the Phoenix hook system and just kind of show you how it works. So hooks are basically a way to get your code into the core system without having to make changes to the core. So just kind of give you an explanation of how that works. So throughout the core there are files, and I'm just going to go into a common area that hooks are targeted at, and that's the template top and template bottom. So basically the template top, a lot of scripts are going to target the head tags of your site. Again, we could go in here, and again, I'm editing the core just as an example. You should not edit the core. If you haven't watched my edit and why you shouldn't edit the core video, watch that video just to get a background on that. But if I did put something in here, say I put in script and I said, oops, okay, so if I just put in a test there, go back to here, refresh, I get test. If I go look at my code, do a look for test, I can see, of course, that put the test in there. The problem with that is I've edited the core files, and so when the next template top version comes out from the development team, my little alert test is gone, and I'd have to come back in and recode this. That doesn't really work. So the proper way to do this is to create a hook. Right here we've got an actual hook target. So because there's a hook target here, I just need to remember what this hook target is. So site-wide means that all areas of the site will target this area, and inject site start is the actual hook injection point. So I'm going to want to remember that, so I just copied that. We're going to go over, I'm going to cover the old place where you would put hooks as well as the new place where you should put hooks. Admin hooks are still located under here, but the shop hooks have been moved. But just because most hooks historically have been in this folder, I'll start here and then we'll move it after we're done. So I'm going to create a new folder, call it shop. This may already be in your store depending on which version you have. We're going to create a directory called site-wide with a capital W in there. And then we're going to create our test hook. Now it's important that you name this file something specific to you. You don't want to run into an issue where it's such a common name that you install somebody else's hook that you've downloaded and it overwrites your files. So I usually go zipper and then put in whatever the name of my hook is. I'll just go zipper test hook. And now I've got zipper test hook.php. So if I go in here and I have to create a class. Now the name of the class is extremely important. The very beginning of the class name is hook underscore shop underscore site-wide underscore the name of my hook. And this has to match your file. So now we're ready to continue. You'll notice this matches the directory path exactly, except for hooks is plural, hook in your class is singular. So make sure you don't make that mistake. Upper and lowercase do matter, so I've got a capital W. It's the only capital in the path. But if I put capitals in my file name, I'd have to upper and lower my file name here as well, my class name. You don't obviously include the .php in there. You leave the .php off of your class name. Okay, so then we're going to create a method. Functions inside classes are called methods. You can call them functions if you want. They are still articulated as a function. Now we're going to say listen, and we're going to put in our inject site start. If you remember, if we go back to the open files that we got going on here, if I go to my site top, inject site start is the hook. Again, upper and lower matters. So if we go back in here, we want to listen for the inject site start. What that means is this hook is in the right spot and it's listening for the right thing to be injected here. So if we do this correctly, we should get some code going back to our head area of our website. So if the proper way to do this, I've seen all kinds of ways people do this. I've seen this and going script and saying alert test 1 2 3, and you can do that. However, it's not the right way to do it. It does work. You can see here it has injected that just as if I had typed it there. Now you look at the site top, I didn't put it in here. It's being pulled in by this. If we turn that off and go back here, it's gone. So this hook is being called site-wide, meaning every area of the site is looking for any hooks that are written with inject site start listening. And here we have our listen inject site start, and it's returning this code. Now if there were multiple test hooks in here, let's just, for the sake of example, I'll create a second one. We have to go open it. Okay, so then if I did this, and I have to match the name, so I have to add a 2 onto that. Now if I refresh this, I now have both of them in there. So, you can have as many files targeting an injection point as you want. Now, this is not the right way to code, even though it does work. I've also seen people do stuff like this. You can say, each, or well, in this case, we'll say script equals, and then script append this, and they'll go and they'll do this. Okay. And then say return script. That'll also work. You can see, let me just go back. So we got it there. If we refresh it here, we've got it. It's just in a single line because of the way I've coded it there. There's no returns. So that works too. It's not the right way to do it, but it will work. The way that you should do it is script and then code it here. And then we'll go alert test 3 2 1. Okay, so here we've basically got it so that we're using HereDoc. Now, DocBlocks allows you to use PHP, so I could say test message is equal to test 1 2 3, and then I could actually go into my code and put test message right in there. This is a good way of doing it just because it allows you to properly space your code without just ejecting it straight in there, escaping PHP. You want to return it. That's the proper way of doing it so that the hook system can properly parse and make sure that your code is going to work correctly. If you just do what I had done originally and do this, it's not really the same thing. It does get your code in there, but it's not being able to be parsed properly. So this would be the correct way of doing it. That will give you the proper spacing. If I wanted to drop at the end of my script close tag there, I could add another return to this, go back, and I'm going to get the proper spacing. Script, and again, we could call this ABC if we want. It doesn't matter what you call it. Is equal to this. Again, you could call it whatever you wanted. You could say my code, but then you have to make sure at the end you also have my code it will grab everything in between there and use that as the code that's returned to ABC. So that's the way a docblock works. My PHP Storm is complaining about certain things just because it thinks I should, be more specific. But this is really all you need. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'm starting to put a little bit of work into getting some code examples put together for you guys. It'd be great if I did have some more subscriptions and push the like button there. So if you're looking for injection points, here's a couple of ways of doing it. Look for that. You can start looking through, where the injection points are and kind of figure that out. Another way of doing it is I did list the injection points on my site under phoenixaddons.com documentation. And if you go injection points, I try to keep this fairly current, but it kind of shows you, in the catalog, template top there, different explanations as to what injections. Here we got to inject body start, inject site start, inject redirects. It kind of put a little bit of explanation as to why you'd want to use each of those. So it's, you can read through there. The biggest thing to decide on when you're building a hook is, what do I need the hook for? Once you've got that decided and you figure out what it is that you want the hook to do, then it's a matter of targeting, how do I get my code in there to do what I'm trying to do? And that's where this can kind of help. Once you know that, the rest is pretty easy. It's just a matter of putting the hook together. So I'll just explain a little bit more on the hook. So again, this shop folder has actually been moved under include hooks, shop, site-wide, under the templates tree, where the admin hooks are still located in the old includes hooks folder. It's still looking in the shop folder if it's there, and it will still work perfectly fine, but I could actually move this file, if I want to, down to here. And if I go back to my site and refresh, I still get the same functionality. The path is still the same. You still name it the same. It's got the plural in the folder, but the singular in the class name, shop, site-wide, site hook. So one other thing to explain here is, say I went to the what's new page. Well, it also loads it because I loaded it site-wide. But if I just want it on the products new page and I don't want it to pop up anywhere else, then I can actually go back to my code, create a folder under shop called products new, move my test hook into products new. Remember, I have to go in here and change site-wide now to products new. And once I do that and refresh, I get it on products new, but if I go anywhere else in the site, I don't get it because it's not site-wide anymore. It's only on the what's new page. So you can make specific hooks for specific pages. You don't want to leave a hook in the site-wide folder if it only applies to one area, because it's always loading, it's always there, it's always in the way. You only want to focus on the hooks that you need at the time you need them, so that it's not loading extra junk into your website. So that's an important thing to mention. Now, I would highly recommend, I put this into all my videos, but if you're using Phoenix, go pro. I mean, it doesn't take much per month to support the Phoenix project. If your company's relying on Phoenix for anything, highly recommend you guys support the group. It's a little bit of a contribution that gives you a little bit more insurance to having good code, good developers, and good support. So highly recommend that. What I would encourage you to do is, if you need hooks, plan out your hooks well. If you need a developer involved in helping you with your hooks, reach out to anybody on the Phoenix Club that's a recommended developer. Some good coders there. I plan on recording some videos where basically you can follow along while we build something that's actually useful and not just a test alert. But this should give you kind of an idea of the concept of how you can get code into your project without having to alter the core code. Your mods, your hooks will not be overwritten by core updates, and therefore they will still function after you do updates. And that's really the key lesson with hooks, is make sure that you're using them instead of editing the core. Until next time.